Welcome to our tutorial on Robert Schumann Reverie. My name is Anne Schätz and I'm very much looking forward to working with you on this most poetic composition. As to the Kinderszenen, I owe you one of the most invigorating joys of my life. That wrote Franz Liszt to Robert Schumann on his cycle Kinderszenen, Scenes from Childhood. The core of this cycle of 13 pieces is as number 7, the Reverie. The Reverie is like a string quartet for two hands. The four parts of the string quartet, first violin, second violin, viola and cello, are structured in 3 different ways. At the beginning, we have the melody in the first violin, the fundament in the cello, and as accompaniment chords, second violin and viola with double stops. In bar 2, we find a duet of first violin and viola. Cello comes in. In bar 6, the melody moves from one voice to the other. So we start at the first violin, second violin, viola, and cello. Practicing this piece, I would start with playing only first violin and cello, so you have the basic structure of the composition. Let us now have a look at the second part of this piece after the double bar. Here, the structure of the composition is very complex, so I would suggest to play only one voice at a time. I will start now with the second violin. You can do so with all 4 parts of our string quartet. Then you can combine 2 parts, for example, second violin and cello. Then you play all 4 parts and play the notes of one voice twice. Our second violin again. And now you can play all 4 voices and play one voice most loudly. Second violin. That's the way it will sound 3-dimensional, plastic, with a lot of transparency. Let us now have a look at the transition between bar 3 and bar 4. I play C, G, and afterwards A. It's not very comfortable, so please play it as relaxed as possible. So back and forth. And then you play all the voices of the right hand and play the top part twice. And then you start with the F and play the top part twice till C major chord. To create a warm, full, soft sound, the weight of your arms can be a great help. You can have the picture in mind that your arm is the branch of a chestnut tree and your hand is the chestnut. It's a special chestnut. It's a chestnut of pure gold, so it's very, very heavy. So now the chestnut is ripe and falls down. Now with the other arm and with sound. And then you play it without the help of the other arm and just play one single note. And you have the feeling the key goes directly into the cellar. If you want to play legato, you can have the picture in mind that on your hand there's a sack full of flour and you move the sack from one finger to the other. So here and here and here. Robert Schumann doesn't write much information about dynamics in this piece. He just writes piano and some crescendi. The structure of all the phrases is the same. It's a rise up to the high point and then a descent. And you can combine the rise with a crescendo and the descent with a decrescendo. I will show you now in bar 5. To form the dramaturgy of the whole piece, you can play only the high points with the chord. So I start in bar 2, B flat major. So very pure sound. Then bar 6, more dramatic. Then bar 10, very sorrowful. Bar 14, the climax of the whole composition, very desperate. Bar 18, B flat major again. And in bar 22, maybe the most intimate sound of the whole composition. Please pay attention always to the note after the long notes, because the sound at the piano disappears naturally. So it's very important that the tone after a long note is soft and not played with an accent. So for example, so you hear how loud the B flat is, and then you play the A a little bit softer and start the line from there up. The Reverie is written in 4/4 meter. But if you play the piece and count to 4, it would feel like going against the grain probably. I will show you. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 1, 2. For me, it feels much more organic to count to 5, to 3, to 2, and to 3 again. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. So you can experiment with your counting. The rhythm of the motive at the beginning of every phrase differs throughout the piece. The upbeat to bar 1 is a quarter note. The upbeat to bar 9 is an eighth note. And the upbeat to bar 17 only a grace note. Please make sure that the first note of the piece is really as long as a quarter note. I recommend to think the eighth notes of bar 4 before you start to play the whole composition. The tempo is a big point of discussion with the Reverie. Robert Schumann writes 100 per quarter note. His wife Clara, in her edition published after Robert's death, writes 80 per quarter note. And most pianists of our time played even slower. Also, if you decide to play it slower than Robert Schumann's 100, please try at least once to play it with his tempo. It will feel a lot of ease in the piece. It's always a great help to play a slow movement in a fast tempo. You will form a great unity of the whole movement. Robert Schumann writes some ritardandi here in this composition and one very long ritardando at the end. Here I recommend to think 16th notes while you play the end of the composition. I wish you now a lot of joy playing and practicing this most poetic, intimate piece. Thank you for attending our tutorial. See you next time. Goodbye.